Good day, poker peeps. This is Sky with Smart Poker Study, and in this video, I'm going to show you how aggression wins you more money. So you see PokerTracker 4 up on the screen. On April 30th, I played this real quick 15-minute session, 21 hands only. But in this session, some really good things happened, and I believe that most of it happened because of the aggression I was utilizing throughout this real quick session, right? So I have it selected, you can see on table session right here, so I could see all the sessions I played this day. This one in particular, if you sort it by date, you're going to see the earliest hand up top down through the last hand. If you right click and hit replay all hands in report, bam, we're going to see all the hands from the very first hand that I was dealt when I sat at the table through to the last hand. So let's start going through, and specifically we're going to be looking at my aggressive actions that I'm making, some bluffs, some folds, some value bets and stuff, and we do want to pay attention to Beach Bum NC right here, and the reason why will be apparent in a little bit, but let's see what happens. 3 big blind open raise, we are going to fold right there, no need to pursue that hand. So just because aggression or aggressive poker is winning poker doesn't mean you need to be aggressive all the time. Look at that big gap between VPIP and PFR. They only raise 12% of the time, raise first in is 17%. They're using a 3 big blind size under the gun right here. I've got to give them credit. And my hand definitely not worthy of coming back over the top or even calling from out of position. 7-3 suited. Open raise, and I just fold right here. We're not going to watch all the action of all the hands, but we will watch this one here. A call, 4 big blind, and then a call right here. Oh, so Beach Bum is willing to call on kind of wet boards. 10 big blinds, willing to call once again. That jack hits, and then no check from either player. But look what Beach Bum was willing to do. Call 2 different streets. Now, I'm not saying these are bad calls that Beach Bum made, but with the pair plus the open-ended, called 2 pretty big bets on the flop and turn. It's indicative that Beach Bum can't really find a fold when they have a pretty hand that they want to pursue. Queen 10, I just fold. I could have open raised, but I chose not to. And then look at Beach Bum decides to limp in right here. Go to the next hand, pocket 5s, I open raise. All folds, good. Stole 1.5 big blinds, as you can see. So that's where the aggression for me starts, with that pocket 5s hand. A raise right there. I'm sorry, a limp, another limp, and then a fold. So what do? I have a great hand. I come in for the big ISO raise to 7 big blinds. Fold. Beach Bum, I would have expected Beach Bum, with the way they've played so far, to probably call quite often, but maybe my 7 big blinds scared them off. Yoda-san decides to call. King 5, don't hit anything. I'm out of position. I c-bet on the hard-to-hit board, and I face a raise right here. Now, I decide to fold, so I did do some flop bluffing, and it was just a min raise, but really, this player, I don't know anything about them. They have position. After they make this bet, if I choose to call, it's going to be a 51 big blind pot. What are they going to do on the next street? Well, on the next street, King 5, probably anything that happens, whether it's an ace to give me a top pair. Let's see what my hand was once again. An ace to give me a top pair, a queen to give me a second pair, a jack or a 10 to give me a gut shot. Whatever that card was, a deuce, 3, 4, anything, they're going to be double barreling. Do I really want to call 9 big blinds right now for the potential of seeing the turn in a 51 big blind pot and facing a 26, a 30 big blind bet when I don't hit anything most of the time? No, I'd rather just exit right now. Give him the benefit of the doubt because, well, it's a flop raise for one thing, but I just don't know anything about him. So you can see right now from Beach Bum's perspective, if he's watching, I made a big 7 big blind ISO raise, and then I c-bet and folded. He thinks, my image is that I am capable of bluffing quite often post-flop. So we have the makings for a potentially good situation. He probably thinks I'm bluffing a lot, and I know that he's willing to call a lot. I just fold right there. Next hand, 3-6. I fold versus the open raise. Everyone else folds. King deuce. Do I open? No, I don't, right? So even though I'm using aggression, once again, I don't just open willy-nilly hands. King deuce to me in the cutoff just isn't worthy of open raising. The King 8. Oh, what do I do here? And I just check instead of putting any chips in. Now I flop the bottom pair. I decide to donk bet out a little bit, and Yoda-san folds. Great. So as far as anyone knows, I could have been totally bluffing with an ace high, pocket deuces, 5-4 suited, whatever it might be. So I showed a little bit of aggression to take down a pot, a raise, I'm sorry, a limp, and then an ISO raise. And me, I decide to just fold. Now, I could have 3-bet bluffed, and this is a hand I often 3-bet bluff with, but for whatever reason, I can't remember exactly back to this hand. I just decided not to right here. Quite often I will, though, because I know that AK97B is definitely, look at those stats, 25-20, folds 69% of the time. That would have been a great 3-bet bluff, and I probably should have pulled the trigger. I think this was a missed aggressive opportunity. 6 deuce, I just fold instead of raising. We get another limp. Wow, things are looking good. Very passive player. I fold a 3 big blind raise, a call, and another call. Great, so we're going multi-way with beach bum as the pre-flop raiser. 9 big blind donk bet, fold, and just a call. Check and a check right there. Beach bum could have just been calling with a9, with a 6, with pocket pair of 10s, not wanting to believe he was beat. A lot of stuff he could be calling with. But now versus 27 big blinds, beach bum decides to call. And it was just a second pair on the turn on the ace high board versus somebody who donk bet full pot right here and made a big river bet. So this is indicative of beach bum being able to pay people off, which is a good thing for my aggressive nature. 1 big blind, I decide to just check my option. Flop nothing whatsoever, check and a check. Now, because Yoda-san checked behind on the ace-high flop, I decide it's time to make a bet right here. Take a stab at it, try to take it down, because he showed his weakness. And he just calls. Okay, I'm probably just going to give up at this point, because nothing worked. But instead, that king, hey, if he doesn't have a queen, if he doesn't have an ace, that king could scare him, because it's 4 to the straight right there, right? It could scare him. It obviously didn't. And he hit his rivered king, so he didn't care at all about the 4 to the straight. Now, Yoda-san's probably another good player to target for value, just like Beach Bum is probably a good one to target as well. 7-10, I fold, Beach Bum calls, but we'll skip this hand. Nothing important happens. Now the Jack-10. This is an interesting hand. I come in for the raise, a call, and then Yoda-san folds. Great. Heads up, bread and butter spot versus Beach Bum, who is a fishy player. 8-5-8, a paired board. This is obviously a spot. Hard to hit board. I've got to come in. I've got the backdoor straight draw, backdoor flush draw, 2 overcards for a top pair. All the reason in the world to c-bet this board right here. But he decides to call, and the jack comes, hey, top pair, check, and now I'm betting for value, 9 big blinds. Awesome. He's potentially giving me value. He could have like 9-10 right here for the open end, or maybe just a 5, pocket 6s that don't want to fold. Now the 3 hits on the river. I'm going for a river value bet. I believe he could call with just a 5, pocket 6s like I said. This might be the kind of guy that might even call with an ace, just in hopes I was totally bluffing. If he has ace 10 right here, maybe he thinks I'm bluffing with ace 9 or something. Awesome. He's beating me from his perspective, right? But from my perspective, I'm getting called by a lot of weaker hands. And he does decide to call, and for shame, we checked right here. Both of us have that top pair. All right, so that hand sets us up perfectly, as well as all the other stuff that happened prior to this, sets us up for this next hand. So let's check it out. I've got the 6-7. I decide to open raise. We get a call, and another call. Oh, another call, 4-way pot. I only have a 6-7, but it's kind of a good hand to see a multi-way pot with. Flop in the flush draw, backdoor straight draw as well. 2 undercards, which if I hit a 6 or a 7, maybe I can check call a street or 2 or something. But I've got what I think is a really good spot. They've been seeing me be very aggressive. If things work out, I bet right now and I hit a spade on the turn for a flush, I could potentially get more value because I've been showing some aggressive bluffing hands, or actions, I guess I should say, not necessarily my hands. And then we get a call right here. Great. 2 folds. Cool. We're heads up, out of position, but we're up against a super good fish at the table who's capable of giving value. The 9 hits. This is great. It gives me an open-ended draw, so I still have my flush draw. I could still maybe hit a 6 or a 7 for a 1-pair hand that could beat his ace high, potentially. Or even if he called with pocket 5s, I could win on the river with that. But I also picked up that straight draw. A 10 or a 5 gives me a straight, right? The open-ender. So I double barrel. I make it a good size, 2/3 pot as well, to try to really convince him to get out of the pot. And if he calls and I hit, I can get max value. Now that he calls, look at the size of that pot. 56 big blinds, 72 him, 75 me. So stack to pot ratio a little bit greater than 1-to-1. The 5 hits. We hit our straight. He's never going to see it coming. Now at this point, a lot of players would just bet, I don't know, 20 big blinds because you want him to shove all in, or 25, maybe half pot at 28 big blinds. But I understand this opponent. I've seen him calling big bets with just one pair hands in prior hands during this time with him. So I decide, you know, screw it. I'm going to make it look bluffy. I'm going to make this look as bluffy as I can. Like I have ace king of spades that just now missed. Or, I don't know, pocket fours that just wants to end the hand and take it down. I'm fed up with him calling me. That's what I'm going for. That's the image I'm striving for. So what I decide to do is I shove, make it look as max bluffy as possible. And if he happens to have a deuce or a 9 for a top pair, a deuce for trips or something, he's just giving me value right here. He might even have pocket 10s the way he plays. Yeah, he could call with that overpair flop turn and on the river. And then he does end up calling me right here. I'm potentially beat, right? Paired board, flushes, I'm sorry, not flushes, full houses are available right now. So if he had pocket 8s or pocket deuces for quads, he has me beat. But my 72 big blinds goes in, so does his, and he turns over the ace deuce. So he flopped the trips, and because he slow played flop and turn, letting me build the pot, I got there, got lucky on the river. But then I also recognize this entire situation. My aggression on prior hands really helped to sell the image that I'm capable of bluffing. When you have that aggressive, bluffy image, that's your best opportunity to get max value out of your best hands. And as you can see, this is the top of my range right here. Sure, I could have pocket 8s for a full house or pocket 9s for a full house. But other than full houses, I mean, this is the best hand. This is like the 5th nuts right now. Pocket deuces, pocket 9s, pocket 8s, pocket 5s. Yeah, the 5th nuts. And I got max value out of it. Absolutely love this hand. So here's the ultimate lesson. Get aggressive when your opponents see that you're capable of bluffing, because you c-bet, then you folded. You bet big pre-flop, then you folded on the flop or the turn. Now, I'm not saying you want to give up hands to look bluffy. If the flop was right, that prior ace-queen hand on the king-king-5, if it was a different board, I would have c-bet and then re-raised, or c-bet then called, right? So, but when things don't go your way, when that flop hits, when you don't hit a pair, don't hit a draw, don't hit 2-pair or anything, you could still utilize that image that you've developed from c-betting and then folding or whatever plays that you made. Use that image to allow people that you're capable, or allow people to think that you're capable of bluffing. If they think you can bluff, you're going to win for that in the long run. Now, in this one session right here, that might, or in this one hand, that might not have come a 5. It could have been a 4. At which point, I might have triple barrel bluffed him. But he called me 2 streets on the deuces right here. I don't know if I would have put him on deuces, but I would have put him on a hand based on prior actions he's made. I would have put him on a hand that he was not going to fold. I would not have shoved this as a bluff on the river because of his prior tendencies that I saw just in the 14 hands leading up to this one. All right, thank you so much for watching the video. I appreciate it. If you enjoyed it, please hit that subscribe button down below and give it a thumbs up. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video.